And so I want to open up a chat. I want you all to become a part of the community. I want you all to become interactive and to start to utilize the knowledge that you guys have inside, about meditation, about motivation, about inspiration. I want to build a community of people that uplift each other, that bring each other closer to overcoming their challenges, to where the mentality inside has a purpose, where you have a place inside of you where you start to believe in you. So let me go ahead and start sharing my story. So at the age of 27, I found myself doing meditation, and at the age of 25, I got married, and I was married for nearly 8 years. I'm still in the process of getting that over with. And the things that I had to go through, the things that I had to face off against, brought me to a place at a point where I was ultimately sleeping in my van, where I was washing my clothes in the 24-hour fitness bathroom, the shower, and I was wringing them out inside the shorts dryer. And so how does somebody who sells cars, 50, 60 hours a week, 35 to 40 hours a week, end up sleeping in their van? And so if you'll stick with me to hear this story out, I could almost guarantee that you're going to take something away from it. That what you're going to take away from it is a belief in yourself. And so I found myself cutting my hair and doing things for other people, and not being who I was on the inside. And as I was going through those challenges, I was slowly losing who I am. Okay, and the person that I am inside is unique, and we all are unique, and your challenges, your stories are worth it. And so how can we start to put ourselves in a mentality to where it's worth it? And so as I was there sleeping in my van, I asked myself that question. As I was listening to other motivational speakers, I was asking, I could hear their stories, I could hear their things that they were teaching, and I started to apply them to my own life. I started to sit down and ask the questions, and to sit down and to start to ask, how is it possible? How is it possible that they could get where they are? If they could make it through these challenges, then possibly I could too. And if you're listening to this message today, and if you're going through challenges right now, if you're going through something where nobody else can go and what nobody else can do, then this might just be for you. This might be the message that uplifts you to the point to believe in yourself. And when we do that, when we become ourselves, okay, we get something back in life. We get the ability for us to be happy. We get the ability for the person inside to open up, that what you're doing and what you're becoming is a positive thing. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted at a certain point to know that, if somebody else is going through these kind of challenges today, if they're facing off against things that, the norm would not be able to do, that might be outside of the box. And we all can ask ourselves that kind of question. What kind of challenges are you facing off against? Truly, what is it that you're going through today, that, we can sit down and study, okay, that we can sit down and pick up the skills that we have inside, the things that nobody else can do for you. How can you start to utilize that part of who you are on the inside? And so I started asking those kind of questions. I started asking me, what is it that I want? What is it that I want? And I sat down and I asked that question. I said, I want to become motivated. I want to become a person who's centered within meditation. And I want to be an inspiration to other people. I wanted to give back from the gifts and the skills and the things that I have inside. And I wanted it to be in such a way that a whole world would be affected by this thing. And so I came up with a set of beliefs that maybe it might possibly help you. Asking myself every single day this question: is what I'm doing today, is it motivation? Is it meditation? Is it inspiration? If it's not one of the three, what is it? And so I started to say, if it's not one of the three, I don't want it. And so every single day when I get out there and I start doing speeches and I start getting into the mentality, it is the question that I ask myself. Now, how can we start to use this to our advantage? How can we start to focus to the point where not only ourselves but other people become uplifted? Can you see that in your day, in your professions? Are you sitting down? Are you using the skills, the vocal skills, the mental, the physical, the ability inside of yourself to utilize what you truly have on the inside? So I asked myself when I was in that down position, as I was face down, as all I had was a vehicle, all I had was me and the two dogs, but just maybe all I had was enough. And so I was sitting there as I was delivering food, as I was putting myself in the mentality, as I was putting myself in the ability. I was saying, it's possible. It's possible that it can happen. It's possible that if they did it, then I can too. Are you seeing that if somebody else can reach that high place in your profession, that you can as well? Are you seeing that if somebody else can reach that high place in their companionship, then you can too? Where you can put yourself in a place where you believe in you, where you're focused to the point where you allow the things that are not meant for you to move out of the way. And so, as I'm sitting here, as I'm working with multiple platforms, as I'm vocally speaking this out, as I'm utilizing mentality, as I'm utilizing ability, I just want to share that with you. I want you to focus on you, focus on your gifts, focus on your focus within that positive person who lives inside of you. See, you look in the mirror, or even if you can't look, I just watched an amazing story about somebody who was in the military and had become blinded, but still ran a Ironman. Okay, and we can do these things when we put our minds to it. Or this guy who was blind and yet was beating people with video games because he started to memorize the sounds of the moves. See what I'm saying? It's never about what you don't have. You see, if you compare yourself to what you don't have, you'll never have what you already have. You see, you don't have to change that part of you. You have to find out how to study that part of you. You have to find out how to use those skills inside of you, that mentality, that ability, that person that you are on the inside, that it becomes something where the universe needs it. And that's what I've done. I've created a community for us to find that place where we start to become uplifted. That place where we start to believe in ourselves. We start to believe in our mentality. And so when you start to breed mentality, when you start to focus positively, when you start to become a positive person, and when your challenges come, you embrace them. You find ways to make it through them. You find ways to overcome your challenges. It won't be easy. You see what I'm saying? You know, if you want to conquer a challenge, face it head on, my friends. You know, I remember, a couple of weeks ago, I had to face a cow. And this cow was charging me. I'm about 170 pounds. This cow's 800 pounds. How am I gonna do it? And you have to let those things that aren't for you move out of the way, because the right timing to focus on those things come. You see, a lot of us want to be the manager before we're able to be the assistant. A lot of us want the position of others before we master our own. See, when I was selling cars, when I was working for Chrysler, I was asked, are you going to be a manager? And you see, I wanted that if somebody else or the universe gives me something, okay, that it comes from the ability to focus to the place where the universe yields it. I didn't want to take anything from anybody. I wanted to add. I wanted it to be because my mentality reached the place where that ability comes from within, where that ability comes from mastering yourself. You see, that is the type of place where you achieve universal yields. Okay, and I realize that even today, you know, I wouldn't change the process that's taking to get to where I want to go. You know, I enjoy it. You know, I enjoy growing this network. I enjoy growing this community. I enjoy people believing in themselves and believing in the abilities that they have inside of themselves. You know, when it comes to meditation, when it comes to sitting down and doing breath work, you know, I know that if I told you I'm not the best, you would know I'm lying. Because the things that I've done, the places that I've gone, the time that I've spent in a sauna, ask yourself if you could stay in a sauna for 5 hours. Because I can't. Before even walking out. So how do we do that in our professions? How do we take the heat to the point where nobody has the ability to affect us? How do we start to believe in our mentalities? How do we start to believe in our abilities? How do we start to believe in who we are on the inside? And so, when you're facing off against challenges that nobody else can do for you, okay, write it down. Just pick up a pen and paper. Speak it into something. You know, record it. Do something that you can sit back and study, okay? Studying is such an important trait. It gives you the ability to understand yourself. It gives you the ability to utilize your mentality. It gives you the ability to utilize who you are on the inside. You see what I'm saying? And the more enabled you become to be focused, the more enabled you are to use your gifts, the more abilities start to open up in front of you. And you might pass up opportunities. Okay? I just had a call from Talking Rock, you know, and I'm in the process of preparing this stuff to get in a place where I can start to market it in that way. And I am doing my videos, and I am in a place where I feel the expansion and the contractions at the same time. And I'm enjoying the contractions. In fact, I'm enjoying the whole journey. Are you enjoying your journey? Are you enjoying the things that are coming your way that are giving you the ability to use the mentality that you have inside of yourselves? Hearing what I'm saying? You're worth it. And so, you know, I remember being at Chrysler and writing down a schedule and getting to the point where I didn't know how I was going to work for 50, 60 hours a week and drive for 35 to 40 hours. Okay, I was pulling 2 full-time jobs. Okay, and there's only so many hours in a week. Okay, so how do we start to do that? How do we start to find the upper hand unless we use the skills that we have, unless we use the things that we have for us and not focus on the things that we don't have? And so, are we able to do that today? So I asked myself that question. I'm sitting in a car. I'm meditating in a sauna. I'm starting videos. And if you go back to motivationmeditationinspiration.yoga and you take that to my YouTube channel, you will actually see these stories. Okay, you will see these challenges. You will see these places, and at times my hair was, you know, I had a big beard, and I had things going on, and you know, it was a journey for me. I documented that journey so I could share it with you. I documented those days so you could believe in yourselves, so that, if maybe my story that I might be able to share with you the growth. I started with 5-minute videos. I'm going to do a 5-minute video today with one story inside it. And I remember being in that place. I didn't even know how I was going to make it out of it. And I'm grateful for family. I'm grateful for the people that uplift me, that have the mentality to be a part of a community. Okay, and I'm here for you. I'm here to tell you that when you are going through challenges, okay, if you continue to focus, it will become worth it. If you truly want that greater position, master the one that you do already. That the universe has the ability to yield to that. It has the ability to utilize that. It has the person that you are inside, in mentality, at point. Okay, where are you focusing on? What is it that you're focused into? What is it that you want to achieve? What is it that you want to overcome? What is it that when you do these types of things, nobody else can do it better than you can? That when the universe tests you, when it truly says, hey, Marcel, can you sit down? Can you do this? Can you get in front of a camera? Can you break an hour video? Can you get to that point where you uplift somebody to believe in themselves, and then you answer back as, I am a reflection of motivation? That's what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about the beliefs that you have inside of yourselves. I'm talking about the ability to allow those things that aren't meant for you to move out of the way. So, are we focusing at that level, at that part of ourselves, at that part of our mentalities, at that part of our ability inside of who we are? And so, as we start to achieve that mentality, as we start to achieve that ability, the blessings inside of ourselves, they start to open up. They start to become a part of who you are. They start to become a part of your vibration. See, the universe, it will ask you the question. It will test you to see if it's possible for you to achieve that. And what I've started to realize is that the people who gain massive success, you see, the people who get in front of the camera every single day, who put out the videos that you're watching today, that are out there doing these type of things, are no different than you. The difference is they're focused. They've created a foundation inside of themselves. They've created a practice within their mentality. Their mentality breeds ability. That's what we're talking about today. Do you have the ability to focus? Do you have the ability to be yourself? Do you have the ability to believe in yourself? So I sat there in the car and I asked that question, and I decided that day that I loved myself more than anybody else. I said, Marcel, today you decide that if it's not motivation, if it's not meditation, if it's not inspiration, that you don't want it. So I started focusing. I started focusing on, what do you want, Marcel? What is it that you can do? What is it that you can do that separates you? What is it that you can do that sets you aside? And I listened and I heard motivational speaker after motivational speaker about, if you want it that bad, you'll get it. If you want to focus to that point where nobody else will go, you'll achieve it. If you want to get to the place where you believe in yourself and you believe in your ability, then it takes who you are on the inside. And you see, I faced off against challenge over and over again. I faced off against rejection. I faced off against, things that set one aside from other people, that give one the ability to say it's worth it, to be at the place aside of oneself where you can start to see you, and where you have nothing more, nothing less than you. Is that where you want to be, where people know you for you? I sat there, I said, that's it. That's it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to create a community of people who start to believe in themselves, who hear this message and want to share it with other people, who want to be something great and achieve something great, and want to start to believe in themselves and want to actually hear and create a program within themselves that's worth it for them, that will achieve things that other people might call impossible. And, it is possible, my friends. One of my favorite quotes by Steve Jobs was, as soon as we realized that the world was created by people that were no more intelligent than us, then the whole world starts to become a little bit easier. Are you doing that? Are you truly doing that? Are you able to realize that you are intelligent, that you have the ability to use the gifts that you have? It's not about the ones you don't have. It's about the ones that you do have. It's about how you start utilizing those ones. It's about how you start utilizing that part of yourselves. And so we sit here and we seek out that kind of mentality. And so, it's okay that opportunities pass by. The one that you don't want to pass by is being yourself. You don't want to pass by that person that you are inside, that you might wake up one day with your hair cut a way that other people wanted, with your eyebrows plucked the way other people wanted. One of the things that I truly enjoy is wearing old pairs of shoes. You know why? Because it's not that I can't get new shoes. It's not that I like new shoes. It's that I like to be myself. Can you see those shoes for yourselves? Those things that make you you, that truly bring you the place of peace inside of yourselves, the understanding that you're worth it? Can you see those things for yourself? And even if today you see me out, you will see me with an old pair of shoes on. See, that is inside of the mentality, my friends. You're worth it. When you start to see this, when you start to believe that you can focus to that place where what you write down can become possible, what you speak out can become possible, what you vibrate outwards, the universe can use you as a tool, can use you as a gift. You can create a magnitude, okay, in a universe that was created by people no smarter than you. Now, can that bring a drive of motivation towards you? Can you see the Most High working through you? Can you see the ability inside of yourself, asking yourself the questions, asking yourself if you have the ability, if you have what it takes for you to be who you are on the inside? We are blessings, my friends. We are focused, my friends. When we use the skills that we have in school, are we using those skills? Do we truly write stuff down? Do we take notes? Okay, if you are in your profession and you want to improve your profession, are you picking up the procedures? Are you sitting down and studying those that are on top of their game? Are you studying down those that are taking the angles? Are you studying the things that other people do that you can do? Okay, I'm telling you, when you see that part of yourself, when you see that intelligence inside of yourself, when you see yourself with that kind of focus, when you have that kind of drive, when you have that kind of ability inside of yourself, what is it that you want to dream? What is it that you want to overcome? And it comes from your ability inside of yourself to believe in you. And so, if I could yet but share my story in a way that it would bring you closer to your dreams, that this story would bring you to the place where you give yourself 10% of your finances, 10% of your professions, 10% of yourself for you. When do we start to go to places that we use our skills, that we use our mentalities, that, when we're there to constantly learn. We're there to constantly grow inside. And I remember when we were working at Chrysler, when I was working for Chrysler, I had to do walkarounds around the car over and over and over again. At a certain point, the people that were watching me on the sidelines as I had my shots to go ahead and sell a car, they said, "You look like you're dancing." Are we dancing? Come on. Can we do that? Can you dance in your professions? Can you get down and can you tango? In the tango, the box, it takes one to do a gown show to understand that sliding and moving within oneself is a part of our momentum. It's a part of our being. It's a part of our purpose. And they watched me dance over and over again. They watched me as I sat there and I took that walk around and I kept on working it and kept on perfecting it and kept on mastering it. And so, are we doing that in our mentality though? Are we dancing with ourselves? Are we getting to that page where we get on that movement and we start getting it going and we start believing in ourselves and we start believing in our abilities inside of who we are? Can you dance with you? That's the question. Can you get down with yourself where you're so into your mentality that your ability has the ability for you to be that person who operates this piece of machinery? Smooth operator. Okay? What an awesome jazz song that actually is. Because it's so true. You can be that person inside. You can use those skills. You can sit down with yourself and you can sit down and start to focus to that point where you utilize what you have inside. And we go through years of school writing stuff down. We go through years of school learning how to study. We go through years of school reading stuff. We go through years of school learning mathematics and learning how to do finances and to put ourselves in a place where we're utilizing what we have inside. And then we allow somebody else to stop that growth? Does that sound right to you? Focus to that place where you use those skills. Focus to that place where what matters comes from within. Focus to that place where you believe in yourself and you believe in your ability. And when you start to believe in your mentality, when you start to believe that you're worth it, when you start to believe that you have what it takes inside, it comes from within you. Okay, it comes from that person that you want to become. It comes from that light that you have inside of yourself where you stop becoming limited by other people's limitations. We all have limitations, my friend. And it's when we use our skills that we have the ability to overcome those limitations. And that's one that I started to find as I was out there driving. Okay. I got in the vehicle and I would communicate with people. I would communicate with them and I would drive them around and I would follow a GPS. I would follow the instructions. And I would use the skills that I had. That I have. Are you doing that today? And when do we spend time on ourselves, my friends? When do we spend time on the one inside? When do we sit down with this one? When do we sit down inside this one? And so this part is about self-study. This part is about self-esteem, self-purpose, self-path.